Hi, folks. This is Colin Richards again, coming to you from Lord and Richards, and excited to be talking to you in this segment about the difference between being rich and being wealthy, the difference between acting rich and actually having wealth. And as we're having great conversations with folks who are looking to retire or are in retirement, one of the most important things is, do you have the wealth necessary to not only take care of your needs, but to feel financially independent? In his book, The Psychology of Money, one of my favorite authors and one of my favorite books, Morgan Housel points out that people tend to want wealth in order to signal to others that they should be liked and admired. Isn't that vain? Isn't that vain? But it does tend to be part of the psychology of money in our society. But in reality, those people who you want to admire you are often bypassing that, not because they don't think wealth is admirable, but they're really thinking about their own desire to be liked and admired. Spending money to show people how much money you have is certainly the fastest way I know of to have less money. Often, the man or woman that you see in the fancy car or the fancy clothes or the fancy jewelry really isn't rich. Maybe they're just spending a huge percentage of income on a car. So often it's that way, right? We think of Sam Walton, who built the Walmart empire, and the little anecdotes about him driving around in an old beat-up pickup truck when, of course, we know he could have bought dealerships by the hundreds. And here he is in an old pickup truck. But it is the person who not necessarily is flaunting that wealth who is actually wealthy. And part of the problem, of course, is our modern capitalistic system that gives such easy access to wealth. When was it ever easier to get credit? Through credit cards, car loans, home loans, and so forth. And it really helps us, quote unquote, fake it till we make it, right? You can look rich until you're actually rich, and it's become a cherished industry in America. But wealth is really not about what you see. Wealth is what is not seen. The nice cars that were never purchased, that's what wealth is. The diamonds you could have bought, but you didn't. The watches you didn't wear. The fine clothes you chose not to have tailored. Wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is the financial assets that you've accumulated that you haven't yet converted into the stuff that people see. So a lot of times we think, oh, it's this stuff that people see that's wealth. Actually, it's the currency, the cash, the investments behind the scenes that aren't being flaunted that really make up the wealth. Singer Rihanna, pop singer, nearly went bankrupt after overspending. And get this, she sued her financial advisor. Well, he responded rather glibly. He said, was it really necessary to tell her that if you spend money on things, you will end up with the things and not the money? I love that. Here it is again. Is it really necessary to tell her? Here it is, that if you spend money on things, you'll end up with the things and not the money. Unfortunately, yes, people need to be told that, especially pampered superstars. When most people say they'd like to be a millionaire, what they really mean is they want to spend $1 million. They want to go out and spend $1 million. That's the opposite of being a millionaire. A millionaire has $1 million. Being rich is not the same as being wealthy in the way that we're using the terms. Rich is current income and expenses. Okay, it can be viewed by what we spend that income on. Even debt for cars, homes, etc., requires that you have enough income to finance that debt. But true wealth is hidden. It's the income that was never spent. Its value is in that it offers you options, flexibility, growth, to one day have the ability to do more than you can do now. That's financial independence as we talk about it at Lord and Richards. The way we identify that in a portfolio is that we get a pool of money. We call it your growing reserve, or blue money. If you'll watch our little YouTube video on 3 kinds of money, that center column of money that is growing, but it is not needed to take care of your ordinary expenses in retirement. The growing reserve is the key to feeling financially independent, to have money that you don't need to spend in order to lead your normal, comfortable lifestyle. That's the option, the flexibility, the growth that we're talking about. One of the problems I think that is creating such a dearth of real wealth is that it is easier to find rich, if I can put that in italics or quotes, role models than wealthy ones. Because wealth is hidden, right? So you don't know who's wealthy. The person who drives up in the beat up Volkswagen might be infinitely more wealthy than the person that has that stylish Mercedes sedan, right? The person who lives in a simple 3 or 4 bedroom home might be infinitely more wealthy than the person that boasts a 7 bedroom estate. It really cannot be seen by the things that we possess. And of course, the Bible speaks to this. It says a man's life does not consist in the abundance of things that you possess, nor does it consist in what's in your bank account. But when we're talking about financial wealth, it can be very hard to find role models. Even if we find wealthy people who spend, we're only seeing the richness side of the equation, right? We're seeing the income and expenses. We're not seeing what's being kept back, what is a part of their net worth, what they choose to save. You say, well, I really believe that I may need to get a little bit of advice on this, Colin. You know, as I prepare for retirement, I want to feel wealthy. I want to feel financially independent, but I sure would feel more financially independent and wealthy if I knew that was the case. And that's the value of what we're doing in our initial conversations with people just like you, is we're helping to give you an objective opinion based on science, based on fact, based on math and statistics, not based on simply your own gut instinct. And that is so valuable. And as I've said so many times, it's really just a conversation to pick up the phone and chat with us, sit down with us and share your goals, your dreams, your values, what's important to you. And then in that context, let us conduct a financial independence review to determine, are you wealthy as you think? Are you financially independent? Are you in a position to not only have your needs taken care of, but to have additional resources for your wants, for your giving, for all the things that are important to you? It really does just begin with a phone call.